Okay, this week we are going to start a new Chumash, Chumash Dvarim. As you know, Parashat Dvarim is always before Tisha B'Av. Always. And there is a special Haftarah and special name to the Shabbat before Tisha B'Av. The name of the Shabbat is Shabbat Hazon. Why Shabbat Hazon? You see in the Shabbat, in the Haftarah, how the prophet, he is rebuking and warning the people before the destruction of the temple. And Sefer Dvarim is Moshe rebuke the Jewish people. So we have a rebuke from Moshe and we have rebuke from Yeshayahu. That's number one. We have to remember. So remember the name of the Shabbat, Shabbat Hazon. We have many Shabbatot. We have special name to the Shabbatot. Most of the time is because of the first word of the Haftarah. Okay, like Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Shabbat Shuvah. Why? The first word of the Haftarah, Shuvah Israel. Right? Shabbat after Tisha B'Av is Shabbat Nahamu. It's the first word of the Haftarah, Nahamu, Nahamu Ami. This way we have many Shabbatot, very special Shabbatot. So first of all, so I want you to keep this in mind, that we are now before Shabbat Hazon. Before I go to the parasha, I would like to give you the background. First of all, we have the story of the spies. And if you remember the big mistake of the spies, they were looking a lot of spirituality, I would say. Why? Because the moment they realize they're going to build up a country, you know, what is to build up a country? You need schools, you need a hospital, you need police department, you need IDF, you need farmers, you need kibbutznikim, you need everything. So they said, who is going to study Torah? So, because in the desert, they didn't have to worry about food and about all these things. Everything was from the Shamayim. So that was the mistake of the spies, because they did not realize that Hashem doesn't not looking for only for spirituality. The opposite, he wants to see how you elevate and sanctify this, you know, from the ground, the fruits, vegetable, trumot u'maasrot, how you combine heaven and earth, how you combine spirituality to materialistic life, which is the main thing. So that's the story of the spies. After the Jewish people realize what a big mistake the spies made, if you remember, we have the story of the Ma'apilim. Who are the Ma'apilim? The Ma'apilim, they wanted to make tikkun for the Meraglim, and they wanted to go to fight. But Moshe Rabbeinu told them, don't fight, because Hashem is not going to be with you. And they've been destroyed. That's the story of the Ma'apilim. Then, if you remember last week, we spoke about the 2.5 tribes, Reuven and Gad. They were looking for, you know, in the beginning, I don't talk about the shiur that we had last week, but in the beginning, from the pshat, from the simple text, looks that also they are the opposite of the Maglim. They're looking for the materialistic life. They want to stay over the Jordan River, not to go to Eretz Israel. Why? Because this is a good place for food for their animals. And that's really, you know, what makes Moshe very upset. But this is as a background to the shiur we are going to learn today. I would like to give you two questions that we have on the 4th Aliyah and the 5th Aliyah, you know, that we're going to meet this Shabbat. Look, line 17. I put over there the first question. Why the Ma'apilim failed? Remember the Ma'apilim, I tell you, why did they fail? After all, they wanted to make tikkun. They wanted to be in the front line and to fight. And so what the mistake? Because they understood that they have sinned and they wanted to make tshuva. As a matter of fact, what is the difference between the Ma'apilim and Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven? You know, because Bnei Gad and Reuven, when they realized they made a mistake, they said, no, we're not going to stay here. We're going to go with all the Jews to Eretz Israel and go and fight in the front line. Yes. And the Ma'apilim also made a confession. They made, you know, about the mistake of the Meraglim. So what is the difference between Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, and the Ma'apilim? The Ma'apilim failed, but with Bnei Reuven and Bnei Gad, eventually they had some sort of agreement. It came out happy end, but not with the Ma'apilim. So that's the question number one. Look what it says here in line 27. ותענו ותאמרו אליי, חטאנו לאדוני. He said, you know, the Ma'apilim said, we have sinned to Hashem. They admit they have sinned. אנחנו נעלה, we are going to go up, ונלחמנו, and we're going to fight, ככל אשר ציוונו אדוני אלוהינו. ותחגרו איש את כלי מלחמתו, ותהינו לעלות ההרה. And you prepare all your weapons and all the tools for the war, and you really wanted to go up to the mountain. So you see that it looks like they are very good people. They want to make tikkun to the Meraglim. Why they failed? Why the enemy, Hashem let the enemy defeat them? Okay? That's the conclusion of question number one. Right after question number two, after the story of the Ma'apilim, Moshe is jumping to the 40th year. Ma'apilim, the spies, is the beginning of the 40 years. And all of a sudden, he skipped all the 39 years in the desert, and he is trying to describe us how we are in a ring. I will explain to you what is a ring. Ring is like you surrounded, like a ring, with enemies. The Sihon and Og Melech HaBashan, everybody surrounded you, and he's trying to describe, Moshe is trying to describe, you know, how did they fight against these people. Why skip all this? And Moshe, after all, next week, he's going to go back to Mount Sinai and describe about the 10 Commandments. So there is a balagan here with the order. That's the question. Why Moshe is skipping? You know, why one is not going step by step, you know, according to the chronology. The answer for all these two questions we can find really in Perek Bet, in Parashat Dvarim, in Sefer Dvarim. Look what it says in line 12. Vanefen vanisa. My dear friend, the key word today is vanefen. Do you remember the translation of word vanefen?
It's make a U-turn.
Yes, turn around, but. Okay, that's literally. But I want to also, you see another, how you say face in Hebrew?
Panim.
Panim. And why the word panim, where is it coming from? You know where is it coming from? How you say inside in Hebrew?
Mipnim.
Oh, bifnim. When you see my face, you see my inside. That means vanefen is not only technically to turn around. Ruth, you remember what we mentioned in previous years, but I would like to add to you now, I said to upgrade the shiur, vanefen is also to internalize what the mistake was and change your hashkafa, change your way. So, do you remember Rabbi Meir and who was his rabbi? You know who was the rabbi of Rabbi Meir?
Shimon bar Yochai?
No. The Aher. Who is Aher?
Aher. Yes.
Elisha ben Avuya. Do you remember when Shabbat he crossed the Tehum Shabbat, and Elisha told him, you crossed the borderline of Shabbat. And he said, you know, how do you know? He said, from the footstep of my horse. And he said, wow, so let's have a deal. I will make you turn and you will make you turn. But he said, I'll make you turn physically, technically, but you make you turn in your mind. Like to make tshuva. So you see, it's not, so when we say make U-turn, vanefen is a very powerful word. That's the key word for our shiur today. So vanefen, when you said, you know, if somebody is smoking, okay, he is addicted to cigarettes. How do you think he can stop? What is the best way to cure him?
To make the tshuva that he will not Smoke.
Teshuvah, what has to do teshuvah with this? There are many religious people, smoking. I tell you how. It's everything in your mind. Today it's been proved scientifically that it's 1 minute decision to stop smoke. 1 minute, 1 second decision. It's you. Not your neighbor, not your parents, not your sibling, not your children. It's you. Why? If I make U-turn in my mind, he said, I had few cases like this. He said, I asked her, they stopped. He said, they went to place, to rehab. They went to places, to cure. They stopped for 1 month and that's it. And they came back to smoke. But the moment they decided, to stop smoking themselves in their mind, they internalize how bad it is to smoke. And then, 1 second decision, I call it. So when Nefen, remember, there is not only U-turn technically, but also in your mind. So look, Perek Aleph. If I'm not clear, please stop me. Line 21. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. בעבר הירדן בארץ מואב הואיל משה באר את התורה הזאת לאמור. This is the first step that Moshe started to explain to the Jewish people the Torah. What he said, Be'er, Rashi said 70 languages. Everyone could understand what Moshe Be'er et Torah azot. Be'er is from the word barur, clear. And he said, Adonai Eloheinu diber elenu becherov lemor. Hashem our God spoke to us in Horeb. Do you remember what is Horeb?
Har Sinai.
Nachon, very good. Horeb is Har Sinai. He said, Lemor, Rav lachem shevet ba'ar hazeh. It's enough to settle next to this mountain. What's so bad about Mountain Sinai? It's a good mountain. But Hashem said, Rav lachem, it's enough. Now, look the next word in line 23. What the next word?
No.
Oh, you see, remember the key word. Pnu. What is pnu now? Translate.
Change your mind.
Oh, now you're going too deep. First of all, the pshat what? Make U-turn.
Yes.
Technically. And change your, and then make switch in your mind. So remember the word pnu is also mamila pnim, inside.
Yes.
Pnu us'u. After you make switch, you switch your mind. You make the decision, then you travel. Uvo hara Emori. What is hara Emori? What mountain is this? No, you remember, we mentioned this.
Yes. Yes, it's the Beit HaMikdash.
No, which mountain is this? Give me name. He said Bet HaMikdash. Which mountain is Bet HaMikdash on? Har HaMoriah. Har HaMoriah. So now we will answer the question why he said, why the Torah, but he said Emori. It sound negative or positive?
Positive.
Emori?
Negative.
Emori, לא שלם עוון האמורי עדנה. Emori is a very, very negative. And Moriah, when you hear the word Moriah, that sounds positive. So why Hashem said switch in your mind and travel and go to Har Emori? You can say go to Har Moriah. Why do you do it in a negative way? Okay, and then he's going out Shechina. Okay, now this is what I'm going to write to you. It's called the Perush is Kli Yakar. Kli Yakar, his name was Rabbi Shlomo Ephraim. Rabbi Shlomo Ephraim, he was born in 1540, passed away in 1619, the 17th century. He was in the time of Hashalah Kadosh. Remember Hashalah Kadosh? Shnei Lochot Abrit, the tefillah that we do in Rosh Chodesh Sivan. So that's about the same time. I give you the time, but he said Kli Yakar gave a beautiful, beautiful explanation for this statement. Look, Rav lachem shevet ba'ar hazeh said, it's enough for you to sit next to this mountain, and we know already it's Mount Sinai. Pnu uso lachem uvor Emori. Turn around and go to the mountain Emori. Now, clear car, line 36. רב לכם שבט בהר הזה. line 37. זו תוכחה ראשונה. All book of דברים is book of rebukes and מוסר. And this רב לכם שבט בהר הזה is the rebuke number 1 in ספר דברים. זו תוכחה ראשונה. This is the first rebuke that Moshe rebuked the people. Why? שאנשים שנאו את הארץ. They hated ארץ ישראל. They didn't like ארץ ישראל. Because they didn't like ארץ ישראל, they settled next to this mountain. You know, they got green card and they got, you know, citizenship. They settled ישיבה של קבע. You know what ישיבה של קבע? Permanently. You know, like to settle, but the goal is to go to Eretz Israel. They did not like Eretz Israel. ולא פנו פניהם, and they didn't face אל הארץ, to Eretz Israel. מקום מיוחד לקיום המצוות. The special place, country to fulfill the mitzvot. Which country we fulfill all the 613 mitzvot is Eretz Israel. And the people stick themselves, they stuck to Mount Sinai, and they thought that's enough. We have enough, you know, here on Mount Sinai. But that's not the purpose of Hashem. ורב לכם, הוא מלשון רב לכם בני לוי. Is enough. Enough is enough. כלומר, המעט הוא המרד, והמעל הזה כי רב הוא באמת לכם. עניין שבט ישיבה של קבע בהר הזה is a big sin, even he said. You know, it's like a rebel. You know, it's like rebellion. When you stick to this mountain and you stick to this mountain, is a big error. Therefore, I'm going line 1, the yellow. Pnu. Face yourself. Pnu. Pnu hasebu pnechem el haaretz. Okay? He said, you know, face yourself, put your face to the direction of Eretz Israel. Usum. Just 1 second, you know, say, Yahel. Yael. My son had a baby girl, so I want to say Mazal Tov, I'm sorry.
Ah, wow.
מזל טוב.
Mazal Tov. He just called me. Ah. What? Yes, Mazal Tov, toda, toda. This is Yahel. Yahel, the one is in New York. Now he's in Los Angeles. Yeah. Yeah, Mazal Tov, toda. So he called me, but I hope you'll call his mother instead of me. אז הוא אומר, פנו, הסבו פניכם אל הארץ. And he said, put your face to the direction of Eretz Israel. וסעו לכם, now listen to the words of Kli Yakar. And drive, לכם, what is לכם? To you, which is good for you. אל what? עצמות מקור שלכם. This is a very strong 3 word. Do you remember what is עצמות? Not עצמות. עצמות is bone.
Wait, I lost. Which are the 3 words?
עצמות, line 1. You see the yellow? עצמות מקור שלכם. Go to yourself. עצמם, עצמי is myself. עצמות is self. He said, go to the authentic place of yourself. Now, where the Jews came from? Which country?
Israel.
Israel. So, you know, עצמות, even go before Abraham Avinu. Who is the first human being in the world?
Adam.
Adam. Where Hashem created Adam?
Gan Eden.
Efa? Where? Which place?
No, in Eretz Israel.
Where?
Gan Eden.
Where? In Dizengoff Center?
In
Gan Eden.
On Mount Har Moriah.
Yes.
Har Moriah. He created the world from Har Moriah. The Akedah was in Har Moriah. So he said, you go back to your source, to your sources. עצמות מקור שלכם. כי משם נוצר חומר של אדם הראשון. When I created אדם הראשון, I created him on Mount Moriah. By the way, do you know until today there is a stone on Mount Moriah?
Eben Hastia,
Hashetia, not Shtia,
Setia.
because Shtia is drinking. Shetia is the word Shet. Shet means entity. Hashem, you know, Hashem built up the country. Do you remember after Heber got killed by Cain, who was the third son? They got another baby. Shet, very good. Shet. And that's why we call today, you know, in Hebrew, you know how to say entity in Hebrew?
Setia.
Entity is Yeshut in Hebrew. It comes from the word Shet. The word Shet, Eben HaShetiyah. From this stone, Hashem created the whole world. So the entire source of human being is Har HaMoriah. Now, do you remember the first Jewish person in the world? Who was the first Jewish person? Avraham Avinu. But Hashem told him, give me the parasha. Lech Lecha. What is Lech Lecha? Go to yourself. You know where? To Eretz Israel. Lech Lecha, to your benefit, for you. The same thing that he said to Avraham, Lech Lecha, he's telling us now on Mount Sinai, Lech Lecha, go to your source. People forget the source. Don't forget the source. Even today, you are in Panama, you're in the Galut. But when you daven, when you pray, you face what?
Eretz Israel.
Eretz Israel. You face Eretz Israel. So always Eretz Israel, even if it's not physically with you, it's in your mind. It's always. He said, ולקמה עשה פירוש, וניסה, I'm line 3, וניסה מחורב, ונלך את כל המדבר. We traveled from Horeb, and we walked through the desert. Now, do you see what word is missing? וניסה מחורב, we traveled from Horeb, and we went through the desert to Eretz Israel. You know, do you remember what action verb Hashem told them to do?
Pnu.
Pnu. Pnu. Now what they have to say? What word is missing? Vanefen. They did not internalize. They did it technically. But they did not internalize yet. They're going toward Eretz Israel, but they don't do it out of love, out of excitement. Because their mind, you know where is their mind? Still in Egypt. It's like the people coming from America. Remember I told you, some of American making Aliyah and they going back. You know he's going back? Most of the people stay, Baruch Hashem. But always you have 10-15% going back. You know why? Because they traveled. They did not internalize. They didn't make switch in their mind. They always see America, America, America. You know, when you see America, every minute you think about America. This is your country. Eventually we'll go back to America. But when Isa Mehorev, they walking, they travel, but without switching. The mind's still not there. Look what it said. V'haya lo lomar, and you should say, line 4, V'nefen v'nisa mehorev. We switch, we made a U-turn spiritually and technically. כן? כדרך שאמר, as Hashem said, פנו וסעו. He didn't say סעו. What is סעו? Go, travel. If Hashem would say only סעו, and then v'nisa, it's okay. But Hashem gave two verbs. Verb number 1, pnu, and verb number 2, sa'u. But before you travel, you have to internalize inside your mind that Eretz Israel is your Eretz. If not, you will go back. It's not good. אלא כך אמר להם עדיין פחזותכם, כי אני אמרתי, because I said to you, line 5, פנו סעו. כשתלכו מהנהר חורב, when you leave, L-E-A-V-E, when you leave Mount Horeb, Mount Sinai, מקום שלמדתם עליו תורה. You know, I'm not saying that Har Horeb, Har Sinai is not good. It's good. What we got in Mount Sinai?
The Torah.
We got the Torah.
זה תורה.
כן? מקום שלמדתם עליו תורה. תפנו פניכם אל הארץ. Now, when you receive the Torah, what you have to do now with the Torah?
Internalize it. Bring
And
it
what?
to Israel.
If you internalize the Torah, what you should do? To apply.
Yes.
To apply the Torah. To study Torah, period, is not enough. But you have to apply the Torah. Now, Martha, you skipped only one stage, to apply. Now, after you apply, where can you apply the Torah? Where? In Eretz Israel. I'm going to give you now a statement. Is a very, very famous fable. You know, we said in Hebrew, look at line 6. Lo amidrash ikar ela maaseh. You ever heard this statement? This is a klal. I would like to explain to you.
Yes.
Lo amidrash ikar ela maaseh. The midrash, the studying, is not the main thing. The main thing is the action, to do it. When to study Torah is beautiful, but to apply the Torah is the main thing. Now, you receive the Torah on Mount Sinai, and you have to do the Maaseh where? In Eretz Israel. That's why you have to go to Eretz Israel. ואתם בלכתכם מחורב, line 7. When you walk from Mount Sinai, Mount Horeb, רוח אחרת הייתה עמכם. You have different spirit with you. ליסע ממקום מיוחד לתלמוד תורה, ואל מקום שמירת המצוות לא פניתם פניכם. You went to Eretz Israel very logistically, very, only technically. But you didn't do it from inside. When you make Aliyah, could you imagine that you decide? How many people in Panama decide to make Aliyah? Not many, but we have few that people did make Aliyah. But if you want to be successful in Eretz Israel, what you have to do? You have to put in your mind, this is my homeland. This is my country. Hashem gave it to Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. Hashem gave it to me. It's my country. Don't go in a negative approach. You have to go very positive. And I'm going now to observe the mitzvot in Eretz Israel. U'v'mirdechem, now the fact that you did not internalize, what is mered? Mered is a rebel, is rebellion, is mutiny. U'mirdechem, when you rebel, atem omdim lisno et haaretz. If you go without internalize about Eretz Israel, you will hate Eretz Israel. Lekach amar v'nisa mechoreb haneh. That's why they said v'nisa, and we traveled without, v'nefen. כל אחד מכם ישית אל המדבר פניו אל הארץ. שערי המרגלים אמרו נשובה מצרימה. That's exactly what the mistake of the מרגלים, the spies. And after they said, let's go back to Egypt. Why? The big mistake of the מרגלים. אבל אחר מעשה המרגלים, after the מרגלים, because they did not internalize Eretz Israel. That's the big mistake. אבל אחר מעשה המרגלים שיעד להם עונש גדול, חזרו בתשובה שלא בביתם. And then eventually, they made, that's why Moshe skipped to the 40th year. ממש few minutes before they came into Eretz Israel, few minutes, it says, look line 12, ונפן וניסה. ונפן וניסה. And we did make U-turn. Technically and mentally. וניסה. אמר לנו הקדוש ברוך הוא, Hashem said to us, החידוש של מתן תורה, you know what is the big חידוש about מתן תורה? The Torah belongs to whom?
To us, to Eretz.
To us, not to the השמיים. That's the big חידוש. The Torah לא תישאר בשמיים. What is בשמיים? Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is holy or not holy?
Yes.
Only way.
Is holy or not?
Yes, only in the time of Matan Torah.
You see the difference what you said?
Yes.
It was only in the time of Matan Torah. It's not anymore. It's not holy. It's not, now it's not holy. The sanctity, the Kedusha of Mount Sinai, gone. 2 minutes after they got the Torah, is gone. אז הוא אומר, לא המדרש עיקר אלא מעשה. That's why he said, remember, you got the Torah. After you got the Torah, you have to continue with the destination. The destination is to apply the Torah. To apply the Torah, you have to go to Eretz Israel. In Mount Sinai, in line 22, you see we got many things. We got the Torah, we got the crowns. Remember? Na'aseh v'nishma, 2 crowns. We got the Mishkan, we got, Kelim. We got Sarei Alafim, Sarei Me'ot, with, Yitro. We got many things. But now is the time to go to Eretz Israel and to make tikkun. You know how we make tikkun? Pnu. Look, I put different color, line 24. That's the tikkun. When you switch in your mind.
What is Sarei Alafim and Sarei Maot?
What? I'm sorry?
Line 23, what does it mean, Sarei Alafim and Sarei Maot?
Remember the hierarchy of Yitro?
Yes.
That he said, make somebody in charge of the hundreds and somebody in charge of the thousands.
Yes.
All this was on near Mount Sinai. With Yitro, he said everything was this in Sinai. When Yitro gave to Moshe this idea about Sarei Alafim, Sarei Meot. But now you have to change the disc. You have to change your agenda. And he said, you cling yourself to Mount Sinai. It's too much. Zelo, I'm not saying it's a big sin, it's Zelo Ra, but it's not bad to be in New York. It's not bad to be in Panama. It's not bad to be in Australia. But to say that this is your country, homeland, that's not good. Because then you fell in love with the country you are and you forget about Eretz Israel. ואתם רוצים, and you want to stay in Har Sinai. I know, you got the sound, you got the tortures, you got the fire, you got, you saw the sound. Beautiful Mount Sinai. But that was for a short time. But קיום המצוות, line 28, המעשי, אין אתם רוצים לפנות, כשהלכתם. When you walk to Eretz Israel, you did it without any motivation, without any desire, like somebody forced you to go. And that's not good. Because I told you clearly, pnu, and you ignore the word pnu. And you cannot ignore the word pnu. That's why I said, eventually we did, but it's trying to explain to you in paragraph 6, what was the mistake of the people. Why Hashem is very upset. What the rebuke number 1 of Moshe Rabbeinu is, don't stick to Mount Sinai. You have to go to Har Emori. That's the goal. But the key word for tshuva, give me what is the key word?
No.
Pnu, very good. That's the key word. Don't skip it. Don't ignore it. Pnu. The moment you make pnu. Now, I would like to ask you a question. If we are, when we studied always, with you for years, we're studying together, one of the bottom line is to see what has to do for today. How we apply to today. Where is Har Sinai today? What is, not where. What is Har Sinai today?
The Knesset.
Why?
No,
But Knesset is Kadosh. Har Sinai is not Kadosh anymore.
no.
What? What is Har Sinai today?
From the past. It's nothing for us, Har Sinai.
We bring it with us.
No, if I would like to put today, to apply, to make it actual, for today, you know what? I don't want to say because, I'm teaching you, I'm in Eretz Israel, you are in the Galut. But I tell you, you know what is Har Sinai today? It's Panama. It's New York. It's the Galut. Har Sinai is Galut. He said, you know what? I tell you, why the Aliyah from Panama is very low compared to other places. You know why? What? Why?
Because it's comfortable.
I didn't hear.
We are very comfortable. We have Parnasah, we have everything we need here. That's why.
Yes. And not only this, you have Bet Knesset, you have Kollel, you have even, you have everything. You have even house, in Santa Clara. You have a house in every different place. And not only this, you have even shawarma. You have falafel. You have steak. You think you are in Jerusalem.
We have
You know, eventually you might love the place. I'm not saying chas v'shalom to hate Panama, chas v'shalom. But I'm saying your first love, you remember? But the first love, when you got married to your husband, the first love, the real love, the first love is Eretz Israel. Always you have to keep in mind that Panama is just a station on the way to Eretz Israel. Did you ever make a trip with your car? Long distance? I'll tell you, I crossed the country, United States, from coast to coast with a car. What I have to make sure all the time to watch when I drive the car, you know what? That I have enough gas, not to get stuck in Nevada desert. You don't want to get stuck. You know what the degrees today they have in Nevada desert? The Valley of Death. Do you know the Valley of Death? 53 degrees Celsius. 53 degrees Celsius. You can put just a paper and it can burn by fire. But he said, they don't get, so why you make sure that you have air conditioning inside and you have gas? You know what? I want you to know, I'm saying it from my heart. Panama is just a gas station. It's just a station to fill up gas, to have some more energy. But the destination is not New York, and is not Panama, and is not Berlin, and it's not London. The goal is Jerusalem, Har HaMoriah. That's, as long as you know it, it's fine. That means, at least you know it. But you have to understand, they said that Har Sinai today is the Galut. Many people in New York and many of my friends, they said clearly they like it because, because it's a comfort zone. I call it comfort zone. I'm going back, to the מעפילים. ואתם פנו לכם, עשו המדבר הדרך ים סוף. And then he said, לא תעלו, and Hashem said to Moshe said to them, line 28, לא תעלו, don't go up to the mountain, ולא תלחמו, don't fight, כי אינני בקרבכם, I'm not with you. ולא תנגפו לפני אויביכם. Remember what is מגפה, epidemic. You will die. And what the people did? They went to fight. They missed the main point, to follow Hashem's instruction. They thought they make tikkun and they baalei tshuva. It sounds like they devoted their life for Eretz Israel, but that's a mistake. If Hashem said don't, you don't. If Hashem said do, you do. So, as to conclude until what we did here, look here. במרגלים, לא במרגלים ולא במעפילים, in the story of the spies and the story of the מעפילים, you know what they missed? Vanefen. That's the big error. Vanefen. They did not internalize, what Hashem give instruction. For 40 years they walking in the desert. פניית פרסה לא חדת הליכית איטית. When you make a U-turn, when you even drive your car physically and you make a U-turn, you do it fast or you do it slowly? Slowly. If you make it fast, you turn over. You see, you do it slowly. That means it's a process. It is a process to make, U-turn. Make the U-turn step by step. עד שהפנמנו שהיעד. Until Baruch Hashem, after the story of the spies and the מעפילים, now, you know who internalized this? You know why he skipped to the 40th years? Who was the 40th years? Who went to Eretz Israel?
Am Israel.
Who is Am Israel? The people went out of Egypt? No. It's a new generation. It's a new generation. Now, why Moshe is telling them the story of the spies? Why Moshe is telling them the story of the Ma'apilim? Because don't make the same mistake of your parents. That's, remember, the message is to the new generation. He said, remember, when you go to Eretz Israel, you go with motivation. You said, you apply the Torah. When you apply the Torah, then this way you will do it. Bishnat 40, and the 40th Bnei Gad of Ner Reuben, they were successful, not like the spies. Why? Because they thought they can stay in Eretz Mizraha, they stay on the east side of the Jordan River. But they realized they have to go to fight. When they internalize what Moshe told them, that you cannot be there and leave your brothers to fight. And remember, not only they went to Eretz Israel to fight, not only to be in the front line, said we'll never come back to the east side of the Jordan River until the last person get his piece of land. Yoshua going to divide the land, nachon? Said, you know how long this? It's not 1 year, it's not 2 years, it's 14 years. 14 years. And that's the compliment to God. That's the difference between Reuven and Gad and the spies. Because Reuven and Gad internalized their mistakes. They didn't say to Moshe. Forget about the show of last week. Their goal was completely different. But I'm talking about even according to Pshat. Now, I would like, with your help, remember I asked in the beginning, why Moshe is asking, say Hara Emori. After all, Emori sound very negative. It's a negative connotation.
He wanted us to do all the process to convert it to Moria,
What the process? Martha, keep going.
to change our mind and to apply everything we learned in the Eretz Israel, all the mitzvot.
Okay, there is one more piece.
The Torah.
You're doing very good. What you said where you're going. Remember, we did it, we explained this in previous years, but I want you to know, when you are making something, studying Torah or building a house, where you attach to your house? When you buy, who is more attached to his house? The one who built up the house or the one who bought the house?
One built it.
Or the one who got the house as a gift? You know who? The one who built it physically. Then the house is part of you. Now, when you see Baal Tshuva, Amiti, Baal Tshuva Amiti is higher than Tzaddik, that never was a criminal. If you're Baal Tshuva, you know why Baal Tshuva? Where is he coming from? He is coming from the depth of the impurity. And when you take something impure and make it pure, you know what you get? Remember, we learned this many times. What?
Kodesh Kodashim.
Oh, very good. Renee is not there. Renee usually say Kodesh Kodeshim. He said, עכשיו now, Emori is negative or positive? We said,
Positive.
Emori, not Moria.
Negative.
Negative. You know what?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give this mountain to you as Emori. You know who's going to change it to Moria?
You are.
You are going to change it to Moria. You know how?
By eternal.
Tshuva. Make it tshuva.
No, but okay, they made tshuva already. They go into Eretz Israel.
By building the Beit HaMikdash.
But you know what they need to bring with them from the Galut?
Bring Mount Sinai with them.
What?
To bring Mount Sinai with them.
Very good, Martha. Good memory. Very good. Take Mount Sinai with you. When I say Mount Sinai, give me another word.
The Torah.
The Torah. Not physically the mountain. Take the Torah. It's a toolbox. Now, if you take the Torah and you go to Emori and you apply the Torah on Emori, you change Emori to Moria. That's the way. And the same token, the same thing, we said Eretz Israel, nachon? But you ever seen the word Eretz Israel in the Torah?
No.
No. How is it called?
Canaan.
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 No, tell me now, why Canaan? Canaan is negative.
To change it to Eretz Israel.
Who will change it?
Us.
Oh, that's the message. That penus olachem. Now you remember what we said. You know, he said, we're going to take Har HaEmori, take the toolbox, the Torah that we receive in Har Sinai, and then change Har HaEmori to Har HaMoriah. That's really, you know, that's, we built the house. We earned this. We didn't get it as a gift. We are taking the Torah and we are keeping the Kedusha and make the Har HaMoriah Kadosh. And that's because of us. Hashem doesn't want to give us Eretz Israel. You know why he doesn't give us Eretz Israel? He give us Eretz Canaan. You know, it says there is a poem in Hebrew, Magash el Kesef. You know what is Magash el Kesef? Is a silver tray. You know, when you are a son of multi-millionaire, you know, and what you get from your parents, everything. You get the visa, you get the house, you get this. That's called Magash el Kesef. But this child, he will never appreciate. I tell you, when I was in 1980, I was a Rabbi Sephardi community in Indianapolis, Indiana. And my children were babies. I took a babysitter, the son of the owner of 12 banks, the one who brought me to Indiana, multi-millionaire. And she is making babysitter. I asked her, well, yeah, I paid her $2 per hour. Then, it was 1980. $2, $3 per hour. I said, why? You said, your father don't give you money. He said, why do you need the money? He said, I have to fill up gas to my car. He said, your father said, no, my father doesn't want to give me. He said, you work for your gas. You work. I said, kol hakavod. He said, that's a father, that's why he's multi-millionaire. He's not stingy. He wanted to educate his daughter that not everything is magash el kesef. You know, when you earn, you know, when you work very hard, then you feel part of it. I heard even in Panama, many people told me they went to the business of their parents and they said, start with the storage, clean up the storage. You know, the father wanted to educate his child how, you know, to go through the hard way, not shortcuts. So that's easy. So if I will make a formula, look at line 29. Sinai plus Emori equal what? Moriah. Say Sinai plus Emori equal Moriah or Har Hamor. We call it in Shir HaShirim, it's called Har Hamor. Har Hamor is a Har Moriah. So now I would like to conclude, to go to the end. Re'eh, he said, Hashem said to him, Re'eh natati lifnechem et haaretz, bo urshut haaretz. Open your eyes, see. I brought to you to Eretz Israel. Look at Eretz Israel. Come and inherit the land. Hashem said, Bo'u, come, urshu et haaretz. Inherit the land. As Omer, we said, what's going on? I mean, is it not clear for the Jewish people that they don't have to stick to Mount Sinai? I mean, Hashem has to give, Moshe has to rebuke them? Tell me the truth. I have to convince you. Do I have to convince you that Eretz Israel is the Holy Land and not Panama? I don't think that I have to convince you. I think you will agree with me. You know that immediately we Eretz Israel. And you know that you are by your mazal, you are in everybody has his own story. You're in Panama, but it's not, but you know, you realize why the Jewish people did not realize they have to leave Mount Sinai. I mean, these people were on Mount Sinai, they were very, very smart people. Because you know what? The answer is not obvious. זה לא מובן מאליו. They don't take it for granted. It's not obvious. רבים וטובים לאורך כל ההיסטוריה, during our Jewish history, בשלב מסוים מסיבות כאלה ואחרות, many Jews, on their own free choice, they chose to stay in the גלות. להסתפק בתחנת, להסתכל ב-the gas station. Even it's only gas station, but they decided to stay there. Line 7, ולא להמשיך אל היעד הסופי, not to continue to the destination, which is הר המוריה, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Why? It not happened only to Panamanians, it happened to millions of Jews. זה קורה לרבים מאיתנו, שיוצאים, you know, they going with good intention, and big declaration, and they have, you know, destination, one day I'll go to Eretz Israel. But בסוף, the bottom line, you know, Mount Sinai, it's not so bad. I can stay here for a while. יש תורה, יש כולל, מים יוצאים מהסלע, we have water from the rock, we have even the manna from the shamayim, we have the glory of the cloud of the glory, everything is מהשם. So why should we continue to Eretz Israel? Hashem give us everything in the desert. That's the dream of the spies. בדיוק בגלל זה, that's why Hashem came to him, don't get mixed up between gas station and destination. The destination of the Jews is really Eretz Israel. Don't fall in love with Mount Sinai. And don't settle too much in Mount Sinai. If you want to change your life for the good, switch, pnu. And when you switch in your mind, you will feel much better. Nechonim, these things you think is our generation or generation of the desert?
Both.
What?
All the generations, Rabbi.
Remember, the Torah is history? Torah is not history, remember. It's not book of history. Torah is for today. You open the parasha every week and you will see what's going on today. ולא להמשיך, he said, נכונים היו, this word is good for the desert and is good for today. Now we are before Tisha B'Av and we have to listen very carefully. You know how the people all over the world, they hate the Jews and everything. Just last 2-3 days ago, I don't know, you ever heard what happened in Sweden?
Yeah.
What, do you know, Leona, what happened? What did you hear?
I don't hear. Yes, Rabbi, they wanted to burn the Sefer Torah.
Bediuk, burn the Sefer Torah. It's even symbolic, but in front of the entire universe. Burn the Sefer Torah. The anti-Semitism, you know, it's increasing more and more and more. And he said, Eretz Israel is, as long as you know, it belongs to every single Jewish. This is the only country, by the way, the only country, even in Panama, when I wanted to get a card, you know, that I am a citizen of Panama, I have to work very hard. You know, I have to pay to a lawyer. I mean, the school did it for me. In America, it's even harder to get a green card. You know, and then green card should, you know what, as you a Jew, you know, when if you go to Eretz Israel, when you get, not green card, citizenship, you know where? Somebody knows where? And how long you have to wait? In Ben Gurion Airport. It's a law of return. It's a law of return for all the Jews all over the land, all over the world. If you are a Jewish person, you go Ben Gurion, you get citizenship. Some people take advantage, but I don't wish them really good. They come into Israel as Olim, they get all the benefits, and they get free scholarship in university, get a degree and going back. You know, they take advantage of the country. That's not good. That's not pnu. I don't like it at all. But you know, I said, but if you're coming, you have a lot of benefit. That's why I said that's the only country in the world that already Jews. So that's what we have to do. Now, so remember, why Har Sinai has no more Kedusha, and Har Moriah is Kedusha forever? Because Har Sinai is a shortcut. You cannot make shortcut. Everything you make shortcut, you lose it very quickly. So you have to have a process. Har Moriah is a process. That's how, by the way, you know how Hashem built up Har Sinai? Hashem built up the Mount Sinai especially for Matan Torah. You know how? Where did he take the sand, the land? Yes, Ruth, very good. He took the land from Har Moriah and he made like a belt, the Belt Parkway. He took a belt straight to Sinai and make a very small mountain. So Har Sinai is really, was really part of Har Moriah. But you cannot do it very quick. You cannot do it very short. There is no shortcut. If you make shortcut, you lose it very quick. Remember, I tell you the Hebron, you know which city in 6-day war we did not fight? You remember which city? The Arabs rose a white flag. Hebron. Very good, Hebron. You know why they rose white flag? Because they knew the IDF want to take revenge. What happened in Tarpat when they massacred the Jews. And they wrote, but now we respect the Geneva Agreement, you know, the treatment. He said, if you have white flag, not even one. And there is one smart professor said, Na'asta lanu kapandria. Let me explain to you the word, what is kapandria. Kapandria, if you are in Bet Knesset, and you have a door in the east side, and you have a door in the west side, and you have north and south, and you have to go out of the Knesset, and you want to make shortcut and cross the Bet Knesset. Are you allowed?
No.
No. You do not. That's kapandria. You do not make shortcut. You know, to use Bet Knesset as a shortcut. He's
How the word Capandria?
what?
How you say the word Capandria?
How we say?
The word that you said. How
It's in the Gemara. It's in the Mishnah. Kapandria. Kuf Pei Nun Dalet Resh Yud. We don't use it. Only the people knows halacha. We don't use it as a language. But it's a kapandria is a shortcut. You know what he said, this professor? Never forget what he said. He said, Na'asta lanu kapandria bechevron. And it's not good. We got a very shortcut in Hebron and it's not good. Why? When you do not fight, you know, you do not earn the place, you must give up very quickly. And you know what the first thing we gave up to Arabs? Hebron. Hebron is the first place that we gave to the Arabs. And he said, because we didn't. If we would, Golan Heights, they want also back. They said, you know, but the Golan Heights, we're fighting. We're not going to give up very quick. He said, when you fight, you know, you fight a lot. He said, it's part of yourself. That's why Hara Emori, Hara Moriah, is going to, was holy and is holy, and we stay forever holy. That's why I say, you know, to you. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, I wish you and all the Jews, my dear friend, that before Tisha B'Av, that you will not have any fast day, that we will have a big celebration. Because all the fast day going to change to be holidays. And we will make L'chaim, and we will be together, Mamash in Yerushalayim, B'mera B'yameinu Amen.
Amen.